Slate grey daybreak, tentative rainfall. A timid, peeking sun comes, then goes again, unsure just what to do with its new day. It hides as I pass a spooky gorge, gushing loud, angry water, broken with waterfalls, tumbling over sere stubble and spent stone. The trail is congested as it is steep and rocky. Even with the rain, I walk as though in sun-filled dream. I wonder and wander, tingling with overflowing natural excitement. I accept the day, no matter how it comes. Somber stillness breeds silence like a prayer. A narrow, old, rickety wooden bridge creaks and moans under tentative steps. I hurry past the expanse of down-reaching chasm, echoing padded sounds of roaring waters wash. Anxious, lifting footsteps carry me up through skinny walls of ponderosa, spruce, and fir. There is meditation only on the movement of the body and its winded breathing. Unity with all that is encountered during this high-up journey, to go but to expect nothing. Mid-morning, when the top is met, rest welcomes me. Rain seems vanished by a change of mind sun. Sky slowly parting, the vista promises all-around view, almost nearly unbroken. A quick shiver, time to be warm and dry under a new sky painting its magic colors. Through frozen atmosphere the sun burns hot, hot. I sit to watch, listen, feel, and be absorbed. The ocean mixing with the drop. A Buddhist state of communion, of expansion within and without. There is ineffable joy. Sine qua non. Shafts of wheat-colored light filter placidly as grey, tacking on white nimbus clouds, let go their bunched together rain-making embrace. Newer, glistening, gossamer infants are born. Some stubborn islands refuse the separation, fleeing safely to another part of the canopy, bumping and carousing with some old friends. Sun melts swirling grey and sunken cloudy air as eastern sky burns away its white-robed layers, letting in temperature's freedom to quickly warm the sluggish, cooler terrain. From the wide spot's wide, curving advantage, there is nearly a free, unobstructed view. Near and far mountains, stretching due west, march northward and tramp southeastward, disappearing as they bend, following the land. Light ignites and augments itself sharply, exposing great fields, meadows, and far-reaching valleys. Leaning back onto a generous tree, I dine on fruit and nuts, eating more of what I see than my meager late breakfast. The day's light and warmth is special and kind to me. I am at home. Polarizing light scatters at right angles and accents otherwise featureless places that cower in flat, dingy light, hiding. Then exploding, exposing brilliancy comes through nooks and crannies otherwise unseen. The land bathes in revealing golden shower, inundated by penetrating, glowing radiance. The complexion of nature mildly blushes in feminine modesty in her now captured, illuminated moment. She turns center stage as the changing wonders unfold. Graduating shadows of vanilla-like clouds merge and tumble in weird abstract formations, passing without preference over a calm sea of emerald green and ginger brown land slices. Sedated, hushed breezes stir peaceful slumber of copper-colored pine cones. autumn relics blowing aimlessly about leafy littered land. Strong autumn color issues, yellow golds, coffee brown, rusts and reds, and countless greens burned and etched into features entrusted to store the lingering tints of season. The southern sky turns and meets a flash of sun as its powder blue washes out to become a pearl. Like a curious glancing eye poking a hot hole through a glaring atmosphere, sun moves near to its zenith of the day. A blinding nuclear furnace, white, yellow, white, climbing ever higher, hotter, and yet smaller. As its journey is made, colors are bleaching in and out, constantly washing in direct light. And only after a long while will the sun permit to give back what was so easily taken. A distant silver thread of shiny stream trickles down from high mountains, reflected like a sparkling land of diamond water. Icy jewels splash, suspended high into wavy, warm atmosphere, circles of confusion running along the indolent bends of water, appearing like slick, mirrored, moving glass. The fickle path of the stream turns in broad, wide loops, the farther it strays from its cold, narrow mountain birth. A water of two personalities is emerging. Beds of olive, sorrel, and platinum pasture roll on in endless agate, like ribbons far away. A pathway of reflected stones snakes nearby them, like hot flowing mercury cooked in sunlight. Aberration of the light plays tricks and treats on the clothed and unclothed again land, changing, rich in chromatic costume color. The permutation of nature's cloaks and garments cleverly disguises a whole earth tapestry as she plays with the light of sun's journey, reflecting, building, and diminishing. The air is teasing with a subtle fragrancy of humus, wood, and dying autumn veterans. Even the microcosm adds to the rich bank as a shifting southern breeze ushers in newer scents of a wealthy, perfumed lady. Myriad spices compound and separate, seasoning the wind which bears the scent. I exaggerate my breathing with my lungs overinflated with the strong yet supple rich odors teasing the land with each new breath of rushing bachelor wind breaths. Another rapid burst of long wind sighs, and trees gently sway to and fro as in a dance, while high creamy ragweeds and dandelions fan in balanced measured time and slow meter. Seeds are dispatched to the trust of the wind. Tiny small missiles, nearly indistinct particles, search for a home in the soil, and then, if to grow, carrying back and forth of the seeds replenishes the wardrobe. That which does not find its anchor must go according to the whim of the wind. Wild flowers still about in petite cloisters, flimsy jewels resembling amethyst and jasper consorting with sapphire, jade, coral, and bloodstones. Busy bees and frail topaz-colored monarchs inspect the stores of each flower's offering, some finding just what they had in mind, others without interest and pursue another choice. The aging flowers are overly receptive to their delicate feeding flying hosts, each offering free room and board in exchange for simple pollination. Juxtaposed among the flowers and variety of weeds are those that are dead, remnants of the past, still offering a special kind of grace and beauty. All things in life eventually break down, and even the rocks don't live forever. finite grows from finite, each in turn, living the most of their time while they can. And when that moment comes to make the change, the breakdown occurs, and that which had taken from the elements to build now gives back and restores to the process so that others may live. Now a noonday flaxen-colored balloon plays hide-and-seek among fluffy folds of slow-sailing, lithe cloud sculpture. Between shadowy periods of hot, then warm air, the shifting cloud light beams gently falling rays to the floating, slow-turning earth below. An egg dancing on in endless waltz-like rhythm. It is a pastoral, enchanting setting, like a special written script, like no other was or will ever come again. It stirs me deeply and wakens my reverie anew. With the clock of time hanging high center, shades of ceiling are burned away in ashen light. Only far to the north does the blue hold fast, as though to hoard its hue all for itself. But the sun is invincible in its hour, gobbling up more and more of straying blue, unsuspecting as it meets the bleaching rays. The light at this time is stark and much, much too bright. Shapes of things become too exaggerated, too real. The countenance of nature's face squints in the direct light. Gathering hawks fly in ethereal faintness. The spent birds turning on wing of azure sky, soaring higher into the lofty stillness, like silent spirits resembling small ebony black dots. Nearly indistinguishable, they drift higher, then vanish and reappear, again and again, performing in graceful ballet to unheard music. It teases one to peer into that tunneling dimension where birds like clouds float as cotton, one using effortless wing, the other effortless wind. Noiselessly, playfully, on invisible wind's breath, a wedge of geese cross blue north to chalky south, flying a tight formation close to the ground, a perfect flying V of some 15 members. They vector east to some sure, secret, warmer place that they wing to for the approaching winter. Leader sounds a call, and the rest acknowledge. I secretly want to join them and follow in their draft. Leaving the prison of this weighted body, I lunge forward, lifting upward as though I were back in a dream. Blue, black, shiny ravens stretch ragged wing, cawing as they fly to some clandestine mission. They draw huge, dizzying, invisible circles, spreading monstrous, jagged wings, seldom flapping as they ride the unseen currents of afternoon's sea. Executing tricky crosswind, full stall landings, they drop bony leg and foot and prowl about the ground. There is an aura of mystery and suspense to these merrymaking robbers. Like a gang of pirates, they plunder the land, boisterous while having fun and intending no harm. Time ages the day as low afternoon waxes. A large oak-like tree, dead well before its time, its bark in rough, lumpy, flaking contour, rests in a felt and auburn-colored field. It appears a melancholy display of feature as there remains only two crooked, lonely arms, outstretched as though in hope and waiting. The light of day changes, and this grandparent manifests an eerie, solitary black silhouette against a brightly painted background tableau. I feel remorse for him. I don't know why. Busier and busier the sentinel becomes, as birds gather to feed on insects too slow to escape their mid-air capture and end. Meadowlarks whistle and sing out to one another encrypted, esoterical, throaty messages demanding no special or immediate reply. Perhaps they talk only to themselves. Greenfinches, jays, some doves and redwings, gaily painted all, take rest on the tree, then are quickly dispersed by impolite magpies, rude in manners as they are beautiful in design. Just beyond the northern boundary of the fields, the beginning of a bottle-green forest appears, that vast umbra of plants, animals, and insects. The density of green is lush, narrow, and tall, and only a miserly amount of clever sunshine finds its way through the privacy of linear members, as though it were kept from discovering secrets. Black, like onyx, shadowy places are a perfect hiding for things which flee and fly from their enemies that haunt them, stealing through dark day as though it were night. Sound reverberates within the hamlet. A diligent chorus of chattering voices blends in and out of syncopated time. A sanctuary haven peaked full of idle gossip, as birds call from secrets of forest silence, and ground chucks and squirrels bicker incessantly. A communion of many voices speaking for one. It is a rich, satiated symphony of an unseen music score, where everything adds to one collective voice. Melodic and poignant, it is the likes of which man has never made. Somewhere within the lush, adding to the song, the murmur of a hidden brook sounds, tripping and breaking its way pliably over small, well-worn rocks and polished pebbles. It gurgles as it splashes its wet way home. Not to be seen, it conceals itself behind 100,000 veils of light and darkness. O waters of life, carry me home, too. I come to bathe in the larger sea of life, not to splash in the pond, swimming up current and flow with my universe, for I have been to the sea. Hearing ushers forth new sound. The air is ringing and transmitting all. Deeper within the ensconcing greenwoods, an even larger stream makes its roaring path. The water sounds a low thunder as it spills over itself. The serenity and steady hum is calming and hypnotic in its persistent flow and volume. The Pacific state is holy and reverent. It is the discovering of the big within the small, the open within the closed, the change within the immutable, impermanence in timeless eddies. An unexpected Chinook wind arrives, shifting the report of the water's sound. It rises full from the north and west, and nature seems restless to the change. Sun temporarily goes behind cloud on cloud, suggesting an even darkening mood. The woods whisper in stillness and blackness. The disturbance quells, and there is a sudden total hush. Then an outbreak of birdsong and harmonious chattering stirs, brought back by an unseen baton. Cadence returns to regular beat and meter. An aging sky continues, slowly plundered of majestic snow-colored bumps and drifts. They rush on, revealing a new complexion, ivory yellow woven into a mixing blue manifold, intensifying like ink on a stain blotter. Collecting puffs hide, then expose a faceless coin, spending its way northwest to new winter's time. Unseen hands of giants push and mold the pliant fabric of ruffled texture, capriciously changing one sculpture design for another. Behold, a camel in the sky. The yellow ochre luster is abounding, as sun hangs a growing bubble and ball in cerulean firmament awash in its blaze. Below, a far-away, western-raised sky, a jagged outline of protruding peaks sharply rises from the deep valley floor. Fickle glare of day suggests no true distance. Looking through parallel light causes a phenomenon of image distortion, as though the dusty fire and wavy hot air conceals the true nature of what really is there. The young, lifted peaks stand in brute silence, monuments of cathedral granite rock. Architecture of bare, exposed, drab mountain soldiers of harsh winter wind, sky, and cold. Vast snow fields are reflected by strange light, marching like diamond curves into robin's egg sky, the mountains reaching sky, sky meeting the mountains. Some peaks hold tight a halo of cloud wisps spun in tight whorl around their pointed pinnacles. Others refuse the companionship of anything but the austere wind. Bizarre patterns of snow, sun, and shadow mix, reflected by advancing and retreating royal blue ice fields of spent mountain debris. Midway, ghostly waterfalls spill down through lower hanging cloud mist to emerge from a veiled valley indented deep within folds and slices of towering rock castles. The slab of mountain's water donation drains far to the floor, distributed unseen into meadows sown nearly shut in their too closeness to mountain shadow, even at this time of day. Just in front of the saw-blade toothy mountains, there is a chain of more gentle, rounded hills, older, wiser, well worn down from ancient time. Starting somewhere northward, they emerge, falling south and then eastward in endless tag-along rhythm of rumps and humps, quiet old sage mountain men waiting patiently for their time. The compression of both generations is impressive, as though the younger ruffians first must wait to give witness to the others during their time before they melt into the pattern so set. Cumulus masses bunch together, racing as they go as harbingers to the ragged tree-top crests. It is like two old playmates come together, a cause and effect of cosmic camaraderie. Soft shade and shadow mimic a marriage today of the cloud and mountain ceremony, loving and needing and freedom to come or to go. Thick in their trees as they are in their age, the mountains rise and fall in a hazy, lazy, meandering path, emptying out and onto a front of high porch land in the southern east. At this time of day, shadows hide from the sun. A diffused light's canopy is splashing lemon-colored drops as the silent clock advances. The lamp increases its wick and pours spent fuel, its faceless feature growing in circumference and glow, dropping lower to scorch and singe olive-drab tops as shimmering green-gold leaves expose veins and skeletons. It is a new sun with its saffron rim and glow wrapping around itself, content now just to radiate without its former noontime brilliancy, knowing its best hotter moments are now through. Breeze suspends its coming and going action. Nothing seems to move. Strangely, it is quiet. A lull in anticipated, hushed stillness waits for the turn of the page score to be given. Two bomber-like dragonflies buzz nervously, inspecting the ruins of a long-ago abbey nest, now absent of its unknown and vacated dwellers. Near to me, I see a large, overweight black-red beetle lugging under enormous weight, clutching the remains of a victim lost in battle. It struggles with its prize. One change of day anticipates another. Evening. Soft pastel colors commence to wrap everything in newer light and wonder. Hard color for soft, strong for subtle, as a new box of crayons dispatches. Dawning pink and rose, turquoise and velvet greens consort varied pigments of red and orange corruption, mixing gingerly as though in whispered color conversation. Like the stains squeezed from a chromatic rainbow, they emerge as though reading the next blueprint of the day, a metamorphosis seeking out its natural end. Renoir et al. Watch. Sallow sun reddens in orange-red rusty face. Couched just on top of a purplish-blue curve, it beams broad radiance of fond farewell. Its shape, size, and setting in exaggeration, the sun readjusts itself, preferring now a garnet shade. Making the long day's journey up to this point, it rests and lingers, proud of its domain. Mood evaporates within my senses, reabsorbed as a thought process, later to actualize in timeless pools of memory called upon to serve, and as a thought inextinguishable, indestructible. Basking full in giant light in this last moment, I watch the cooked face slowly lower itself, first through an elongated slice of cloud image, appearing like a 17th century vessel. It dips and vanishes, emerging farther down, less brighter but larger in a small amount of clearing. I pan the last ghostly silhouettes around me. From behind the stage comes a miraculous fire glow in the heavens, like a giant ball of crimson had settled into unseen water, causing outrageous embers to flee and fly. The embers expand and ignite some monotones, as the show of shows is never at its real end. Cirrus and cirrostratus bands welcome refugee embers, thirsty for the shade and dye. Things hold fast their last-minute tint process, the new host happy with the pink, blue, and salmon orange. Heaven's sky appears like a Michelangelo setting. More colors are born and die. Vermilion, ruby reds, sea blue greens, dying oranges, fading. And then the irradiated source vanishes behind the wall like some stubborn light lingers favorably. As on cue, from the milieu of a copse of trees appear a small herd of cautious, curious deer, with coats of velvety and chestnut brown color. Large almond eyes reflect quiet inner peace as their tails swish rapidly back and forth, remaining still with an advancing breeze. They listen carefully and ponder their next move. All is unusually quiet, a frozen stillness etched in silence. It is a scene captured by unseen painter's brush, made eternal in time on the larger canvas of life. They pause to witness hushed, quiet serenity, then turn and dart swiftly, noiselessly into the nocturnal safety of their fortress. Their gait is light and airy as it is quick. Birds are on wing again, and singing abounds as all life prepares their varied menu dinners and chance to fall asleep before night falls. I eat leftover lunch morsels, my appetite made wet by air that has just a trace of cool evening moistness, as though it were a faint kiss from an unseen coy maiden. Light nearly extinguished and played out. Last rays hurry about but are soon eaten by dark. Clouds sleep too, and like frail, sleepy pillows, they limp exhausted across a colorless ocean of sky. Crickets begin the first tentative evening song, and a chorus of frogs soon competes for voice and range. Trained and untrained, tenors and baritones all. It is a special pageant, the holy part of a day, the time just before darkness arrives to envelop the last things to be seen in the plethora throne of stilled meadow. Ribbit, croak. The sun had finally met and courted her west, and twilight lingers lonely, then fails. Black ebony of night steals quickly its place, as though in wait for the perfect moment. Countless high-lighted lanterns begin poking curious eyes through black tarp one by one. Soon there are thousands of twinkling, faraway candles. Shimmering their light, I look back at them through ephemeral worlds of time and time to the collector of all time, where it all somehow must fall back upon itself. A long while after, a settling in nightfall, arrives a large, full, creamy harvest orb, in imitation of an earlier, larger companion. He too will roam across a track of the zodiac, sans command to muster in and change colors, for they sleep well from day's vigorous exercise. Scant illumination and stark accent will suffice. It changes to resemble a silver spaceship, first born from orange-yellow to pearl, then silver-small. I hear its celestial hum as it dances, dispersing some stars temporarily. Constellations are forming as stars collect, adding intricate pieces that suggest a shape. Great and little dippers are first jewels shining, then Castor and Cassiopeia find their partners. Pegasus gallops without a rider, slow free, charging across an expanding firmament in blaze, following familiar track and starry friends. I see a passing dull blur of a too far away galaxy passing through winking cold white-red Milky Way. Its distance is so large that number defies its scale. I signal Namaste. Cold carbon night runs on as the pocked ball roams, keeping just the right amount of silent boreal space, assuring it a rank of perpetual luminosity. Too faint to read by, its small light falls, and secretive shadows are caught in their act as they wrap themselves tight around the land. Blackened clouds come and go, opening and closing light. Far away, mountains' coyotes howl and bay at the lunar visitor, as though in faithful homage to a well-trusted companion of excellent reputation. The moon smiles and winks back. The air is sable black and cold, cold. History and the future continue to unfold as set forth in the pattern of reading the stars. Silent, graceful, arching meteors cross easily across dimensionless dimension of space on space. Once as casual astral drifters, they now meet fiery death in silence, acceptance, calm and dignity in their end. Another type of meteor flies unseen through night-black air. I hear the hoot-hoot of an owl on busy bending wing. Perhaps some critter gave up its life too, and I hope it was painless for it. My mind feigns astral travel among the torches, a home knowing no beginning, much less no end. Exploded from violent stars gone nova, we are cosmic star stuff in ancestral origin. Our seeds sown in all possible direction. Now we journey our way back home to our stars. I think to my home hanging in the Pleiades. Betelgeuse, Sirius, and Pollux, I knew them all much differently before I began my curious circle of human life wandering. I have a sense of cosmic homesickness now overcome me. The fading light of 5 o'clock time arrives. Black light lets go as eastern sky awakes, and purple, dark blue, magenta slowly forms. One by one the pins of starry lights blow out. Blinking they vanish, and a hole remains. Cosmic figures begin losing their vital pieces, and Orion's belt soon is undone and falls. Light is gathering, advancing well in front of a great new sun. It begins to peep and push its way over a well-rounded horizon. Colors awake, stretch and await. Garments of dewy night change for those of the day. Never the same choice, for nothing is ever the same. Nature's munificence and boundless glory shows how things really do lack any sort of comparison. Everything stands alone and unto its own unique self. Tears begin to form on cheeks cold with air, not from sadness, but from ineffable personal joy. I shiver from cold and happiness mixing, waiting for the change of another day, all reflecting even deeper change and awareness and growth within me. My cup is filling. Light holds preference to the higher mountains first. Small sun-fired summits are slowly ignited. Their ashen-fired snow, cold and far-away silence, shimmers in cold morning's pink copper light. Some peaks are poising on soft cloud forest, their light slowly marching down to meet darkness. Shy blue and rosy pink start the day's affair. Another fire-glow is in the heavens of the softer, airy kind of fabric, weaving across high sky, while lower landscape catnaps, still tucked in the blankets and folds of the night. Some morning mist and fire smoke appear. Slanted sun shafts penetrate darkened ravines, and a labyrinth of mouse-colored rocky face appears convoluted like a side of a brain. Light is slowly advancing, playing as it goes. Strong bathing colors to the east, pastel to the west. Surreal sunrise brings cold fire across cold, still air. I rub sleep from my eyes, maintaining vigilance so as not to lose sight of this dear fond friend as I witness more of the unfolding, the process of life primping her awesome morning sleepy self. Small golden birds fall from high mountain sunlight, diving into steep, darkening ravines below, falling high from flaming, ignited peaks like blowing sparks and embers that drop away. They become extinguished in the dark deep below. More crows or ravens appear from out of nowhere, cawing intermittently to whoever will listen. Sun melts morning thick air, and birds begin to reflect energy of a new day's glory from a cold night's sleep. They feed and search in unending appetite for their breakfast. It is time to make the return journey homeward, slipping and tripping down to where sun meets the path. I am temporarily blinded by exposed yellow glare, and a few sneezes vent sinus frustration. I pass a spider's web, aglow in silken glitter, as I descend the Aerie and into the steep gorge below. Foaming white-brown thunder leads the winding way. A bird note commands silence. It sounds sweetly to me as though to say hello or goodbye, and I bow in its general hidden direction, and then continue the hard-to-balance footing of the path. Pausing in a break of meadow, I turn full around. The luminous morning blues and greens accent land and sky. No grey like yesterday, only sun and colour. Oh, the joy and wonder contained in a colour. Morning clouds rush morning cloud, a game of tag agitated by solar wind from the lighted east. Now up starts the full face of jolly bright ochre leaving its disk. I remember the old colours in the face of the new, the garnets, cerise, magenta, ruby reds, rusty orange, buffs and sapphires, paints and pigments to last me an eternity, and then some. Such an intoxicating, natural, full experience as I walk in mild shock, my steps now very unsure. Tired as I slip my way down remaining trails, I stumble clumsily over an unseen log, and then fall, startling a hidden herd of still sleeping elk. Signaling my profound apologies to them, I laugh at myself and continue my drunken way. The past day I have gone full cycle with the sun, like a child growing through its own seasons too, ending up where it always was, only more unknowing. Life is like a circle. Postscript. In just one day's journey I have joined myself with myself in spiritual love and communion. I became all that I lovingly was observing. Even that which was not seen was deeply felt. Life registering, flowing within my whole being, filtering to lives of long ago and yet to come. I feel I am a part of one mind in all of its timeless time. I pass my cousins, a tall, handsome spruce, realizing there is very little difference in the atoms, molecules, and chemical makeup that is also contained within me. They harvest sunlight for me. Now I think of a special thought long ago. Thou canst not stir a flower without troubling of a star. And I know its meaning, for everything is but one thought in the mind of God, functioning separately, yet in unison too. Independence of all things in nature is a joke, for each must depend on the other for its life. Life is a chain, a process in its own reality, and nothing is immutable. Flux and change is predicated to the vehicle of life that gives transport to all and all. Everything is everything. The clock time's march of a deepening autumn day has been an incredible and overflowing big moment in a slice of small cosmic time. Blake's words stir me. To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Yes, I think it has been a slice of small cosmic time and script, and yet the whole pie of the universe is still missing its completed end and size. I know, for I have looked. If I could know all that there was to know, I would turn my back and ask not to have this. For there is greater happiness and wonder, peace and joy in the not really knowing. There is indeed bliss in the ignorance. I have learned more in the living, loving, and unlearning, making much room for still newer thoughts to find a home. It doesn't matter what I saw or heard. It only matters that I let it all happen without guiding it, letting it do with me what it naturally would. To feel, I think, is better than to see. Life is so like the river of all time. It appears in the morning exactly the same as it did the evening before. It simply flows. And I swim daily in its back eddies and wash, carrying me to the great eternal sea of life, for I have bathed in those waters of here and now. I know the special heart's Tao lies only within. My journey homeward is indeed all within, as I am the center of my own unique universe, waiting for its own cosmic exploration, by following my Tao, my heart, knowing I have been home all along. I remember Dorothy in Oz, and tapped my heels 3 times. Going home is to realize the universe within my own universe.